Now, fast forwarding a little bit to our next president of the 1950s, and this guy meant business, all right, and the Soviets found that out, and so did Senator Joseph McCarthy. President Eisenhower. So Ike takes the middle of the road. In the 1952 election, the Democrats bring up Elijah Stevens, who is the governor of Illinois, and he runs against the Republican nomination of war hero Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, what is Eisenhower's qualifications for this? Obviously, we talked about Eisenhower during World War II. He's the commanding general in Europe, the European theater, leads our forces into Northern Africa, leads our forces into D-Day, and is the American general that helps bring down the Nazi regime and Adolf Hitler. So, we have a lot of people in the United States who probably served under Eisenhower, but at the same time have looked up to Eisenhower. He's like a cult hero for a lot of the American public. But what qualifications does he have besides military of leading a group of people or leading a nation? Well, he was the head of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization that was created to help fight communism. So here we have a problem with the early Cold War, and Eisenhower already knows what to do. All right, Truman has given him that power by appointing him the head of NATO. He ran on the slogan, "I like Ike," not Mike and Ike's, all right, which we all love, and the little cinnamon ones, the hot tamales, those things are great. But people are walking around with these little pins that says, "I like Ike," and it's just catchy, right? I like Elijah Stevens. That doesn't exactly go, but I like Ike does go. And so people gravitated towards that. And he had charisma, he had character, everything you want in the leader of your country. Kind of ironic. Here's this great war hero, well-respected. People would never even ask about, whether he was trustworthy or anything like that. But guess who his vice president was? Vice President's Richard Nixon. I am not a crook, right? And so here's this guy that is riding the coattails of Eisenhower, will later become our president, and is going to get impeached and kicked out of office for lying. But it's funny, he was a really great leader because Eisenhower kind of showed him the ways. Now, once he becomes his own president, it's up to him to make his own decision, and Eisenhower really has no more say over what he does or what he doesn't do. But it's kind of ironic that Richard Nixon, the guy that we usually associate with being kind of this scummy president, is under the vice president to one of these great American presidents. Eisenhower swept to victory in 39 of 48 states, so obviously an overwhelming majority of Americans wanted Eisenhower as their president. You could say they like Ike. Eisenhower embraced a program he described as modern republicanism, which is a little bit different, a little bit more moderate, all right? Social issues, more conservative, and he wants smaller government. He resisted to roll back any New Deal programs. So he's willing to work as a bipartisan president, all right, with the Democrats and keep the American public working. He saw how well that worked. He just doesn't want the government to finance it as much. So some of that's going to go back on the employers. Now, economic growth creates an age of affluence. We're going to kind of shift gears to what's happening in the United States. Well, some of you guys may have been there this weekend, today, or looking to go in the future, or I'm sure you guys know where it's at. Dick and Mac McDonald opened up a drive-through restaurant. Now, this is like, at the time, not what you'd think of today with McDonald's, obviously. They decided to streamline every aspect of their business. Pretty much, they saw what worked in the auto manufacturing, and they're like, hey, let's make an assembly line. Instead of having a menu with 30 different things that you have to sit down and choose from and having a chef that has to cook every single thing, let's only offer hamburgers, hot dogs, and french fries, okay? That's easy because then we can only tell them to cook a certain amount of things. We know how long it's going to take so the orders can get out quicker. And instead of having you wait, you can go sit down. We'll bring it out to you, all right? You can eat in, you can eat out. We're going to get rid of real silverware and give you plastic, which some of you guys, I know, save the earth. That's not good. All right, it's not reusable, but back then, it's a pretty big deal, okay? Because guess what? You don't have to pay for someone to be a dishwasher. in the restaurant. So you can save a lot of money. You don't have to put it out on plates. You put it out in wrappers or in styrofoam. Again, hey, don't kill me, I know. Save the ocean, save the turtles, all that sort of stuff, okay? But it's a lot more economic. It's more efficient for them. They narrowed the menu, as I said, to just hamburgers. They instituted self-service order counters like you guys see today. And think about it. Today, how they streamlined it even more. You go in, there's a kiosk where you order, you go up, and you really just have one person you need to pay. You don't even have to pay them. You can pay with a card at the kiosk, print out your receipt, and go get your food. They've eliminated 3 jobs right there. Because usually there's 3 registers. Well, you don't need those registers anymore. The kiosk can do those jobs. It's all automated. And so it's cheaper in the long run. Yeah, up front you have to pay more to put those kiosks in. But if you think of the longevity of paying the employees, it's a lot more efficient for them. The middle-class families enjoyed this. They loved it. It's finally, they can go somewhere, and at this time, like a middle-of-the-road, classy restaurant, sit down, eat, it's good food, and it's like, man, I don't have to cook. I can go here, and it's affordable. This is awesome. And so you got to think, look at all the restaurants that popped up today that different people go to. And it allows them to kind of escape or, enjoy something that they maybe wouldn't have all the time. Now you look at McDonald's today, and obviously it is not like a upper middle class. Anybody can go there. It doesn't matter your socioeconomics. But it was built that way. And look at the other ones that have grown, Wendy's and places like that have the same exact model. So obviously this was very successful. The fast food era is born with McDonald's. So think about how many of you guys probably have gotten fast food today or in the past few days. Guilty as charged, even though mine was very healthy. Okay, but the 1950s brought us something that is like a craze. One stop, get food, keep going. You don't have to sit down for dinner every night. And so for some of you that love fast food or work in fast food, you can thank the 1950s for this. The consumer demand spurs economic growth. All right, and we only got 2 more slides I want to get through today, and we're going to look at how consumers are really pushing this. During World War II, Americans had saved billions of dollars. And so now they are flush with cash, and they're ready to go on a spending spree. So some of you guys may be the same way. It's like after you get your first check from working, you just want to go spend it all right away. So these Americans had saved and saved for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and now they have all this money, and what do you do with it? They got to go spend it, and that's what's going to help jumpstart the economy. By 1955, the United States was only 6% of the world's population, was producing almost half of the world's goods. So that means we have a lot of people working. And so that means a lot of money is then in the United States to be spent. Average American family had twice as much real income to spend, and suburban shopping centers started popping up. And this is very evident for us living here in Delaware, obviously, with Polaris popping up, not too long ago. You have the outlet mall off of 71 popping up. You have the new shopping centers that are going up, popping up around 23 as you're coming into town, and right off 36, 37. Why? Why were they going in there? This is no different in the 1950s because Delaware County has a lot of money. So you put the stores where the money is. And now, think about in the 1950s, that's all over the United States. So stores are popping up all over. It doesn't matter the states. Now, probably not some of the really small states or the really wilderness states, but those high populated states are going to start seeing this huge expansion of fast food restaurants and shopping centers because people are ready to go spend their money. Now, guys, this is going to be the last slide before I let you go today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this first video lecture. You've gotten something out of it. But I kind of want to end here talking about this consumer demand spurs economic growth a little bit more. Businesses were spending $8 billion a year on ads that encourage consumption. I don't know, you watch a YouTube video, you see an ad. There's ads everywhere. Ads are meant to drive you to go and spend your money. So yeah, $8 billion is a lot of money that people are spending, but think about the Super Bowl today. To get one commercial in a Super Bowl, you're probably paying like $20, $30 million, and that's for a minute? So really, it wasn't that much back then. And they had big billboards in towns and things like that where you could see all their supplies and all their goods, and they really got the messages out. Large stores issued charge cards. This is going back to the 1920s. Now, people know how to use charge cards a little bit better than they did back then because we're a little bit more financially savvy in the 1950s after we learned from our mistakes in the Great Depression. But it's another way of, hey, here's money. It's not yours, but you can use it and buy our products. In 1958, American Express launched the first all-purpose credit card. So now it's a credit card that you can spend on gas, groceries, food. It doesn't matter. You can pay bills with it. And so American Express is kind of leading the way for these other groups like Visa and MasterCard and things like that to start popping up as all-purpose credit cards, not just store cards, cards that can only be used at a particular place. And then we see this thing called planned obsolescence. It is the desire to own something a little newer, a little better, a little sooner than necessary. Now, we're all guilty of this, right? Obviously, in probably one major way. The phone, all right? When a new phone comes out, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it. The technology's so great. I need this new iPhone 11. Well, some of us have it. This guy, all right? But some of us go years without it. And I was guilty. I had an iPhone 6 before this. I'd gone probably 4 or 5 years. And I'm like, I really don't need it. I need to spend my money on something else. Now, someone your age, that's more of something you're into, right? It's not like you have to worry about paying for family or anything like that. You can go get something new. Cars are the same way. Someone will have a car and then they see a new one come out like, man, I wonder if I can trade mine in, how much money I would get, because I'd really like to get that new car because how do people judge you in society? People judge you based on what you have. Whether it's clothing trends, whether it is what you drive, what you're talking on with your phone, people are always judging you on how new and how nice your stuff is. All right? And now, is that fair? Probably not. But it's a status symbol. It's a way to show your wealth. The fashion and auto industries are the ones that really jump-started this. They're the ones that really said, hey, you guys need to do this. You guys need to jump all in. And think about it. Trends are always changing. Some of you guys are very like fashionistas. You're always changing your trends, doing other things. You're very up with the times. Me, myself, I'm pretty bland. All right, sorry. But cars are always evolving. You want the new model. Well, the new model does this. It does that. Phones the same way. And so they understand people are willing to spend money on this and get newer things because it's what they want. And people judge them because of it. All right? So those are some quick things I wanted to talk about in this first set of slides. I think we got through about 8 today, which isn't bad. That's better than a normal day class. It took me a little less than 30 minutes. But you guys need to start working on your vocab. Start working on your reading questions. Feel free to make any comments you want on the video. I'll get back to you guys. My office hours, when I say office hours, like you can send me an email and I'll get back to you. Obviously, you guys know I'll get back to you anytime with an email. But I'm there for you guys from 8 in the morning until 11 in the morning. You guys can get a hold of me anytime. Unless I'm out for a really long run, then just yell at me from your house. Like, hey, Mr. Montgomery, I got a question, 1950s. And I'll make sure I answer and get back to you. But anything you need, I'll be able to get that to you. Remember, start marking down your questions for the Q&A lecture that I'm going to do. I need those by next Thursday. All right, so Thursday night, I can get this all ready to go, and I can get you ready for your assessment. Quiz will be next Wednesday. All right, you'll find that on Canvas. It's over actually all 32 vocab terms. But guess what? There's no time limit. So, just saying, make sure you get through all of that. Hopefully everyone's staying healthy, staying happy. Look forward to getting back in the classroom with you guys. And as always, have a great day. Go Pacers.